G'day, my name's Bruce Simpson. This is the X-Tech channel and we have a fight on our hands in America. Yes, the FAA are looking to shut down the hobby. They really are. And if you saw my previous rant, which I'm sure a lot of you did, you'll know that if their proposed new rule goes through, that's what will happen. The hobby will be shut down. We are facing extinction because they're going to be relegating traditional RC models to grassy fields that will eventually disappear and there'll be no new ones allocated, so there'll be nowhere to fly your non-compliant models or a model you build yourself from scratch. Nowhere. You won't be able to fly them at all. You'll be banned forever. And so as I said, we need to really get active on this, and I'm putting in the time and effort. I've been reviewing many hours of YouTube video featuring the FAA making representations to Senate committees, discussing the issue with the AMA, giving assurances to the AMA that were later dishonoured, which speaks to the FAA's credibility and honesty. And I'm getting all that information together. A lot more work to do there. I'm going to be busy for probably the next couple of weeks just reviewing that information. I've also looked, now the original document which I referred to was a draft proposal for this new regulation, and they've since published the final proposal. It's different. It's different in a few important ways, and I've got to say to you, I have to go through the new actual proposed regulation with a fine-tooth comb. Haven't done that yet, but I've noticed, and I have to say, don't make a submission yet. Honestly, do not make a submission. If you've made a submission, I want you to make another one, because I've looked at some of the submissions. There's several hundred submissions already on the government website, and some of them are bad, very bad, because we have to realize that the FAA are going to get thousands of submissions, and they have a limited amount, the government has a limited amount of resource to apply to reviewing these submissions. And they will look for any excuse to take a submission and just put it to one side saying, we've already dealt with that, or that's invalid, that doesn't apply, whatever. They're looking for reasons to discount your submission. And a lot of people have given them good reasons because there's been changes between the draft and the final document. And for example, I've seen a lot of submissions saying this proposal is unacceptable because it means that we cannot fly without an internet connection. And now that's not true now. That's not strictly true. If you choose to operate in the unlimited category, then as long as your model is broadcasting its position and your identity via radio transmission, you can fly without an internet connection. So if you have made the weight of your argument that this is no good because you can't fly without an internet connection, the FAA will go, no, we have addressed that, and stick your submission to the side. Even if you had a whole lot of other really good points, they would just dismiss it on the basis that we've addressed that, and the rest will be ignored. So we're going to be very cunning, very clever, very careful in our submission. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to draft up what I think are the salient points, because also to be effective, your submission will have to be cogent. That means it has to be relevant. It has to be concise, because they're not going to bother wading through 10 pages of prose. It's just that, again, they don't have the time. Unless it's short enough for them to read it all, they'll ignore most of what's on there. It has to be polite, because no one likes to be insulted. And we're trying to curry friendship. We're trying to curry favour here, not piss people off. I mean, we all know that this is a real bad thing, but we need to get over that and just present our case in a polite manner, because if you're polite and you are professional, you're more likely to be listened to. Now, we know they're probably not going to listen much anyway, but it doesn't hurt to make the effort. We've got to make the effort. We've got to come from all sides. We just have to put everything we've got into this. And this leads me to another video which I'll be making shortly. Right now, everybody can make their own individual submissions. And as I say, don't yet. And we've got 60 days. The submission process doesn't close until early March. So there's no rush. There's no rush to make a submission. Better to leave it until you've got everything sorted in your mind and you've got a really good submission than to rush into it and regret later. Now, if you've already made a submission, you can make another one. I don't think there's a limit on the number of submissions you can make, but you need to make good submissions. So I'm going to do a video outlining how to go about doing that. And the other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for your proxy. And what's a proxy? What it means is that there's no single group representing all the unaffiliated drone and model flies. Now we've got the AMA. They can say quite hand on heart, we represent the traditional model flying community, among those of which who belong to our association. So all AMA members are represented by the AMA. They speak with the voice of 200,000 people. And that carries a lot of weight. You've got the FPV Freedom Coalition. They speak for their members, but the membership isn't big. I recommend you go and have a look at FPV Freedom Coalition. Put a link in the description here for you if you haven't gone already. And But the individuals, you just get one say. You get to make a submission, that's it. Well, I think we can change that. You need to have a combined voice as well. Everyone needs to have as many voices as possible. So I'm going to put myself forward as a spokesperson for the hobby. Not just AMA members, not just FPV Freedom Coalition members, not just citizens of the United States, but everyone everywhere. Now, I've considered at length creating a global organisation to represent model flyers and drone flyers around the world. I don't have the time, effort or money to do that, but what I can do is say, in this one instance, give me your proxy and I will do my very best to represent you in this issue. So I'll be doing a video, don't do it on this one because I need to have a special video just for this, in which I will encourage you to just leave a comment saying, I authorise you to represent me in respect to this notice of proposed rulemaking. And I can then count up all the comments and I can go to the FAA, I can go to the Senate, I can go to the congressman, I can go to all these people, and I can go to Trump himself if I need to, and say, look, I represent X thousand people. So listen to what I'm saying because it's important. If I just go and say, I represent Bruce Simpson from XJet, they go, who cares? You're just one of many. But if I represent the many, I can carry more weight. And that means you get not only to make your own personal submission, and perhaps have the AMA make a submission on your behalf if you're a member of them, but you get me to make a submission. So you can get up to 3-4 bites of the apple because you get your views are presented through multiple channels, and I'm going to be the channel that represents as many people as possible. Now, if you don't think I'm going to do a good job, if you don't agree with what I'm going to be saying in my videos, then don't give me your proxy. But if you think that I'm going to do a good job, then give me your proxies. In a video that's coming up, it's going to be a sole purpose of that video will be to obtain your proxy. So don't do it now, do it in the upcoming video. And I will present my usual logical, reasoned, rational case with abundant evidence to support my claims. And with the weight of thousands of people, I'd like to think hundreds of thousands of people behind me, then if that's ignored, a very good case then to lobby the public and say that the process is not working because all these people are being ignored. But we'll see what happens. We'll get to that later. Anyway, so don't make a submission. Be ready to give me your proxy and stay tuned because I'm going to tell you how to make your submission in the most effective possible manner. And in the meantime, I'm going through that document with a fine-tooth comb. As I say, I'm reviewing all the footage on YouTube from the FAA because there are so many strategies for addressing this issue. We could point out how ineffective the FAA is, how dishonest they've been in terms of the assurances they've given the hobby, and therefore they are being lobbied, they are being swayed by commercial interests, which we all know is the case. I'm also looking into some of the other players in this game. We've got the CDA, the Commercial Drone Alliance, I think it is, who have been vehemently anti-hobby. They claim, oh, we're in favour of the hobby, but no, they've worked massively hard to get rid of the hobby. And when the issue of the revocation of Section 336 came along, they were right there pushing like hell to have 336 revoked and thus remove the protection the hobby had from the FAA's regulatory authority. And they succeeded. They succeeded. And despite the AMA's best efforts, they failed. So we can't just rely on the AMA again. We've got some really powerful foes out there with a lot of money. The CDA has a huge amount of money behind it because there are industry players there who are backed by large amounts of venture capital. And they have a time imperative. They have to get this done because their venture capital funding won't last forever. So they're going to be pushing so hard in order to get the window open, clear us out of the way so they can get in and supposedly make their millions. But I think we all know, and this is the thing that the public isn't aware of, this whole drone delivery thing is a joke. It is a joke. No one is going to use drones to deliver pizzas. No one's going to use drones to deliver stuff you buy off Amazon. It is just not economically viable. It is not. I'm going to talk about how these things will shape up in a future video, but it's not going to be a drone landing in your backyard or dropping something down from a string. Never going to work. The only people who have been fooled by that are the investors who have been tricked into parting with large amounts of money to fund these ventures. And the CDA are right there trying to keep that flow of money going by saying, oh, once we get the regulations in place, we'll be good. But of course, it won't happen. I predict that in 3 to 4 years, the whole drone delivery concept will have crashed and burned in a huge way. Now, I predicted that the Martin jetpack would crash and burn. It crashed and burned. I have a long history, a long track record of spotting technology failures and identifying them right from the get-go because I'm a tech guy. I have a strong background in technology, science, engineering. I can see when things are not going to work. And I'm also a practical guy. I know when things aren't going to work because they're just totally impractical. There are better solutions to problems. The better solutions will always prevail because you can really make money out of better solutions. Can't make money out of bad solutions. So yeah, this is a transient problem. This is temporary. The pressure from the commercial sector is going to go away when the whole drone delivery industry crashes and burns. But we have to survive that. And there's a very big risk that before that happens, we're going to be grounded. So the other thing I must point out is my bona fides for making these representations. Now, if you're new to the channel and you don't know me, I'm the guy who 18 years ago, in about 2002, predicted that there was the potential for terrorists and bad actors to use drones to launch attacks, to engage in acts of violence against civil targets and military targets. I'm the guy. I built my own cruise missile in the garage and got myself into really big trouble with the US government because they didn't want to listen. They did, no, this is not right. No, this can't happen. You're a bad person for even raising the idea. And they, for the following 16, 17 years, sat in their offices going, la, 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 we're not listening, it's not true. If we ignore the problem long enough, it will go away. But it didn't go away. So I was 18 years ahead of the US Homeland Defense, of the NSA, of the Air Force, of all the military in the USA, 18 years ahead of them by predicting that this would happen. And I was wrong. I have to admit, I'm glad to admit I was wrong. There's not been one single evidence where recreational drones have been used in attacks on targets on US soil. Hasn't happened. And my argument is that, well, if it hasn't happened in the past 18 years, even though the capability has been there, and I proved that 18 years ago, why would it happen now? And it won't. It won't. This is an illusion. This is a threat that doesn't exist. And I'm proof of that. I'm proof. I proved that it could be done 18 years ago, but nobody's done it. So why would they do it now? It's just a convenient excuse for getting recreational flyers out of the sky. So I'm the only one that qualified to comment on the potential use of drones as a weapon of terror, because I built one 18 years ago and nobody else did. There you go. So that's, yeah, and I'll put links in the description. Go and look at the stuff I did. You may remember it. It was in the news all over the place. The Kiwi guy that built a cruise missile in his garage. Very long story. There's even videos on YouTube. There was a documentary done in New Zealand here, and someone's put the videos up in that. I might put a link to those in the description as well. Very poor quality, but it was 18 years ago. That's it. Right. Thank you for watching. Now, again, thumbs up if you like the video, and subscribe if you want to stay in touch, because this is going to be a series of videos. We have to address this very seriously. I can't do it all in 1 or 2 videos. There's going to be a long series of very boring videos. But if you value your hobby, if you value your freedoms, if you value your rights to use the air, which is public domain, you need to be on board with this. So stick with me. We'll work together. It is a tremendous battle, but I think we can prevail so long as we all work together. We have to pull together. I don't want to see, I looked at some of the comments on the government website, and I was very upset to see that some AMA members were saying, it's all the fault of these drones, you should make cameras illegal and the problem would go away. No, I'm sorry. I fly traditional models. I fly nitro models around the circuits, around a field sometimes. I enjoy it. I've got nothing against grey-haired old men flying circles on a Sunday afternoon over a grassy paddock. I do it myself sometimes. But we have to realise everyone's in this together. The government makes no distinction. In fact, the existing hobby is being punished more than anybody else, because you're going to be having nowhere to fly in a few short years. So you need to work with the drone flyers. The drone flyers need to work with the circle flyers. We need to work together. We need to present a unified front. And I'm happy to be the guy standing at the front of that unified voice, putting the case, if you want me to. As I say, video coming up. Not this one, a few down the road, maybe the next one, I don't know. So there you go. Thank you very much for your time, people. It is important. Stick with me, and show your support with a thumbs up if you like, and spread this video around. Everyone needs to know. There's so many people out there don't even know what's going on, so you need to wake them up to it, and not just in the USA. As I've said, this is going to happen all around the world. USA introduced registration, rest of the world introduced registration. The USA does anything, everyone follows behind, because that's what they do. So let's nip this in the bud. Thanks for watching, guys. I've got so much to do. I better get back to it. Bye for now.